Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this. So here's what I always come back to with this. It is impossible to be able to rank 68 teams out of 362, right? Like this is basically an impossible task that we are asking the NCAA selection committee to make happen, right? And creating a metric to be able to evaluate and kind of stack these teams on top of each other is something that is like the only way that you can do that is by creating some kind of data system to figure all that stuff out for you, and then let the computers handle it, right? And then just kind of trust what they say. No matter what that formula is, no matter what that metric is, eventually somebody is going to figure out a way to be able to manipulate it. We saw it happen
And Big
with the
12 figured it
RPI.
out quick.
Yeah, we saw it happen with the RPI. We're seeing it happen with the net. We've seen it happen with KenPom. Like this was a thing a couple years ago where like Pitt and Wisconsin would always end up being like a top 3 team in KenPom. And I believe KenPom is on record. I didn't look this up before the podcast, but I believe he's on record of saying that like he changed what his formula was like in the mid teens because of how it the numbers that it spit out for Wisconsin and Pitt with like a slow pace, beating teams by 25, whatever. So there's always going to be a way to kind of game the system. And I think that the Big 12 has kind of figured this out a little bit. My thing is, I don't necessarily know if that's like an intentional thing that they did, or if they just kind of put together these schedules. They have these teams that are pretty good, a bunch of teams in this conference that are like top 30-ish kind of teams. They all went out and they all won the games that they were supposed to win. And as a result, this is what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if this was necessarily something where they all got together and said, listen, this is what you got to do. You got to go out and you got to schedule nothing but like teams that are going to end up being ranked 120 in the net. So you could beat them by 25 and you beat them at home. And then it looks really, really good at the end of the day in your metrics. And we're all going to eat as a result of this, or if it was just kind of something that happened.
I call bullshit. Iowa State started out the season against Green Bay 205, Lindenwood 347, Grambling 314, Idaho State 278. And they beat Green Bay 85-44. They beat Lindenwood 102-47. They beat Idaho State 86-55. They beat Grambling 92-37. That is insane. It's good for nobody. It doesn't help your players at all because and here's the thing, he's keeping his starters in through the whole 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like it sucks.
Yeah,
this whole thing sucks.
Yeah, so this is where I've kind of settled, is that the way that you have to schedule with the way that the metrics in the system is kind of set up is basically what UConn did, right? And if you go back and look at UConn's schedule, they have these ridiculous marquee games. They went to the Empire Classic where they played Indiana, who was supposed to be better than they are right now, and then they played Texas, who was supposed to be better than they are right now. Like those were 3 preseason top 25 teams in that event. They go on the road. They play at Kansas, top 10 team. They play North Carolina in the Jimmy V Classic, top 10 team. They go out to Seattle and they play Gonzaga, who was like supposed to be a top 15 team. That's kind of fallen by the wayside a little bit, but still, like you get those 5 marquee games. You want to know who else they played? Northern Arizona, 300. Stonehill, 1-20 on the season, 358. Mississippi Valley State, 0-21 on the season, 362 in the net. They are literally the worst team in college basketball. Manhattan, 4-13 on the season, 300 in the net. New Hampshire's actually pretty good in their conference, and then Arkansas Pine Bluff, another sub 300 team. So you get these marquee games, these huge games where even if you lose them, it ain't going to hurt you. Going on the road and losing at Kansas is going to help you in the metrics, especially if you lose by 4. And then you get these teams that you're not going to lose to, you're going to beat by 1 million, and that stuff is going to end up helping you at the end of the day as well. So that is what we're going to end up seeing more and more of. And I don't know if that is a good thing for the sport.
It's a bad thing. It's a bad thing because we have complained about like there's not enough games in the non-conference. Well, no shit. They're being rewarded for blowing out Stonehill. And God bless Stonehill. What is it? Their second year in Division I? Like they're just a sacrificial lamb at this point. Like it's insane. It helps nobody. And the problem is now, like, this really sucks if you're a team, arbitrary league, Big West, Southern Conference, Sun Belt, Big South, like some of these right in the middle leagues, you're screwed. There's nothing you can do. Like you're not going to be able to schedule anybody. So there's no opportunity for you. And the whole thing behind the net was it's what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Everybody has a shot. Horse shit. They have figured that out. And now nobody has been able to get some of these games at the mid-major level. It's crap. The net system needs to be revamped because the capping of the wins, that's all well and good. It's the capping of the metrics that really suck and it really screws you, quite frankly. Iowa State beating teams by 90 points. Who does that help? It doesn't help the TV rights. Doesn't help that. A lot of these middling conference teams, the Iowa States of the world, the Mizzous of the world, like they're not the Kentucky, they're not the Kansas. So I'm not telling you people something you don't know. But like you're not going to find some of these middle of this league team plays middle of that league team outside of an MTE. It's just not going to happen. So it's to be honest, it's been kind of disturbing. Once this was brought to light, and I'm not going to say who brought it to light, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like it's unbelievable. You can't go one way and be like, well, we need better non-conference games. Okay, fine, we'll do that, and then fucking punish people because they do it. It's insane. And to be honest with you, when you say that there's something about Otzelberger that makes me think like that dude knows what he's doing all the time, and he's kind of a mad genius and kind of a person that's willing to do stuff that's a little scummy. I'm not saying he's ever done that.
I don't know about a little.
He's never.
I don't know about a little scummy, but
he's never done anything bad. But you look at him and the way he does his interviews is like that dude. If he could freaking, there's a cookie on the table and it's the last cookie. That dude's gonna grab that cookie. There's no freaking doubt about it. No doubt about it in my mind. He's never done anything scummy. It's just that's the wrong word, and I apologize to Iowa State fans. That's the wrong word, but.
Tio's fired up, guys. He's got to get this out.
But he doesn't strike me as a guy that's going to let anything go, and he's going to figure that out quickly. And he doesn't mind beating Mississippi Valley State or what arbitrary school by 100 points because that's just what's going to be best for him. And that sucks. It sucks for the viewer. It sucks for the fan. The net sucks in general because you've seen the seeding over the past couple of years. It's been freaking miserable. So like there needs to be a change in the scheduling. I've looked and looked for what am I missing? And it's the strength of schedule. This is a bad system to see the tournament.
Yep. It's also interesting to see how this kind of flipped from a couple of years ago when it was the RPI, when I think Tim Miles was kind of the first guy in the Mountain West when he was at Colorado State that really figured out how to work the RPI and get that thing to work in his favor. So feel better to get that out?
Yeah, it doesn't make you feel good, but it's like it'd be nice if you could edit out the F word that I said. But outside of that, like it's just because my eyes aren't lying to me. And here's the thing: like some dudes know ball, some dudes don't know ball. Like the more you watch, the problem is the people of the selection committee. There's so many teams that you have to have a metric, and it's impossible. But you also need somebody in that room that watches enough college ball that's going to help you be like, hey man, that's a tournament team. That's not a tournament team. It's bananas to me. This whole thing is bananas to me.
Yeah. I also go back and forth on, I know everybody loves KenPom, right? And I think that the way that that KenPom uses efficiency metrics is the best way to evaluate how good a team is. And my sole issue with it is that I know that there's no difference in quality. Like if a buzzer beater's in the air, right, and you're down by one, there's no difference in how good you are as a basketball team if that shot goes in or if that shot doesn't go in. That shot is also the most important moment in a game. If that shot goes in and you win, that shot has to, it doesn't matter more than any other shot during the game, if that makes sense, but it has to matter more than every shot during the game. So because winning has to matter, right? So I think that the intention of the net was smart. I think that I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm like some genius mathematician, but if teams have kind of figured out how you get around it, then let's tweak it a little bit. Let's find a way to be able to make this thing so that it's a little bit better. The intention is not the wrong thing here. It's just, once you figure out how to game the system, you got to fix the system a little bit until someone will figure out how to game it again. And then we'll go through
it's been gamed.
Advance. Yeah.
It's been gamed.
So you guys have that. Yep. So there you are. It is official. The ACC is the victim of a Big 12 led conspiracy. To I appreciate you doing the investigative work, the detective work to get to the bottom of this issue, and I got your back, man. Here's what we're gonna do now. You know I'm a Big East guy. I know you're a Big East guy. I know you're
I
a
am a
Big
big,
East guy.
huge Big East guy. Huge
You're
Big
so
East guy.
you're not huge. You're a huge Big East guy.
Huge.
You're a Mountain West guy, and now
Yeah.
you're also the savior of the ACC. You're a man that wears many hats, Terrence
That's
Oglesby.
right.
So I'm with you, man. I'm riding with you. We
Just
are
keep
going
me
to
out of the Big Ten. Keep me out of the Big Ten. Anything
they
with a
don't
big,
want you up there, man. They don't
yeah,
want
nobody
you.
wants to be in the Big Ten in those bad states with that horrible weather. But
except Robbie Hummel. And
yeah, poor
Hummel,
Robbie.
yeah, Robbie Hummel is every single time I turn on a Big Ten game, Robbie Hummel is calling it. I could
It's
watch,
unreal.
so I watched Illinois play Ohio State last night, and I watched Michigan play Michigan State last night. And somehow Robbie Hummel was calling both of those games. He was at both of them. And then I flip over to the Big Ten Network, and Robbie Hummel's there in studio breaking down everything that happened in the Big Ten games that he just called on Peacock. So Robbie Hummel's everywhere, man.
There's 3 of them.
Yes, there's 3 of them. As you guys know by now, we've partnered with BetMGM this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68 each and every week of the college basketball season. We have a special offer that will be available starting on Tuesday, January 9th and running through Monday, February 12th, the morning after Super Bowl 58. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, in honor of the big game, you can use the bonus code FIELD158 and you'll get $158 in free bets on your first wager with BetMGM, regardless of whether or not you win that first bet. Here's how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app. Sign up using the bonus code FIELD158. Deposit at least $5 and place your first wager on any game. You'll receive $158 in bonus bets, regardless of the outcome of your bet. Just make sure that you use that bonus code FIELD158 when you sign up. And remember, BetMGM is now available under one wallet in select states. As a New Jersey resident, this is super convenient when I have to go cover games in New York or Philly, which happens quite a bit. When you cross state borders, you just log into your existing account and fire away. You don't have to create separate accounts in each state. It's easy, it's simple, it's clean. And most importantly, we have some fun stuff coming up for the heart of the college basketball season. Bet insurance tokens, college hoops odd boosts, and my favorite, a nice juicy parlay boost. So download the BetMGM app and sign up today. Field 158. All right. Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field 68 content.